So, as you can see, today we're in our conservatory and we are going to make a sourdough loaf. And we've got our sourdough starter, and it's been out here in the conservatory, and I've got to be honest, it's boiling out here, and it has now become really active. Take a look. And as you can see, that is fermenting, it's very active, it's all risen to the top of the jar. So this sourdough starter is ready to use to make our artisan sourdough loaf. So let's get this little monkey in the kitchen and get baking. This is very active indeed. This should make a really good loaf. Can't wait. So as you can see, this sourdough starter is all really active, okay, so it's in a perfect condition now to make our bread rise. And you just need a few other ingredients. 4 other ingredients is all you need to make this artisan loaf. And I'm going to pop them up on the screen now for you to take a look at, and we're going to start off with the dry ingredients, which is flour and salt. So 500 grams of strong bread flour, okay, any make will do. This stuff is the stuff you need. And we're going to have 10 grams of salt, and we're going to measure that straight into our mixing bowl. And that's it for the dry ingredients. We're going to mix these up with a fork, get it all well combined, and then once that's been mixed up and your flour and your salt is all together, it's time to add our wet ingredients. And we're going to start off with our sourdough starter. So along with some olive oil and some lukewarm water, this starter is ready to go straight into the flour. So we're going to mix all that together now, and then we're going to pop our water in the microwave. And that starter is what's going to give our artisan loaf its height. It's going to make it rise. So basically we're going to mix this in with a fork now, then we're going to add our lukewarm water right on cue, and then we're going to add about 25 millilitres of olive oil. And you know, once that dough has started to stick to the fork and it's formed, make sure you haven't got any rings on. Get your hands in. And as you can see, you need to get that all that flour mixed in, okay? And get your hands into it, your knuckles, and give it a good knead. Probably take you 2 or 3 minutes. Get it nice and spongy. So we've been folding this dough, kneading it in now for about 5 minutes or so, and it's nice and springy, okay, and it's kind of ready just to rest. So what we're going to do, we're just going to fold it in on itself, and then we're going to pop it back in that basin for about 20 minutes while we prepare our Dutch oven. So, like we said earlier, we're going to cook the sourdough in a Dutch oven, okay, or you might know it as a cast iron casserole dish. Pretty much the same thing. But what we're going to need is we're going to need some grease-proof paper, or this is actually silicone paper. We're going to cut a little base out just so that the bread doesn't stick to the bottom of the oven when it's cooking. So with your base cut out, okay, and it doesn't need to be perfect, which is a good job because that is not perfect, but it'll fit nicely in the bottom of the Dutch oven, okay, and that will just stop our loaf sticking to it when we bake it. And with our Dutch oven lined with our silicone paper, all we're going to do now is we're going to take our bread dough that we kneaded earlier, we're going to pop it in that Dutch oven, we're going to cover it, we're going to leave it to prove, and if I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably going to prove overnight, but definitely 4 to 8 hours, okay, so that it doubles in size. So let's pop that bad boy in there. So as you can see, our sourdough has more than doubled in size, okay. It's been proving for a fair few hours overnight, to be honest, okay. So this is clearly the following morning. That sourdough loaf is now ready to be baked. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop our oven on, but then we're going to just cut a little bit of a shape into the top of it before we pop it in the oven. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut a few lines in the top of this loaf just to make it, allow it to expand, and it makes it look pretty good as well. But you're going to need a really sharp knife for this. And what these cuts in the loaf are going to do, they're not just aesthetic, although they are going to make it look pretty good. What they're going to do is they're going to allow it to expand a little bit more when it's cooking. So to cook this, we're going to pop the lid back on it. We've got an oven here which has been preheated to 190 degrees, and we're going to cook this in the Dutch oven for 30 minutes. And then we're going to take it out, we're going to cook it for another 50 minutes with the lid off. So our bread has been baking in the oven, in the Dutch oven, for about 30 minutes now, and we're going to pop it out, take a little look at it, because it should at this point be fully risen, and all it's going to need to do is to brown for about 15 minutes. So let's take a look. So all we need to do at this stage now, as you can see, that loaf is so well risen, those cuts have opened up lovely. We're going to dust it with a bit of flour, we're going to pop it back in the oven for another 15 minutes so it goes nice and brown. Smells absolutely delicious already, can't wait. And that smells unbelievable, so tasty. Can't wait to try it. So we need to check to make sure it's cooked now as well. There's a real simple method of doing this. Hopefully the silicone paper that we put in earlier has done its job, and we can pop this loaf straight out. Oh, there he is, rolled over. So we can get him out. Remember, it is pretty hot, okay, so you can leave it for a few minutes if you like. But once he's out, there he is, artisan bread. And all you need to do is tap the bottom. Sounds hollow, bread's cooked. Pop it on a wire rack, let it cool down.